Crutch Entertainment, True News.
Crutch Entertainment, True News. We're coming to you with a topic forum. We're getting away from the news segment a little bit. We have a panel of guests. We're talking about relationships. What makes a relationship work? You know, what would we come together and say are the 5 things that will make a relationship work if you had to pick them? Now we have Martin, we have Ebony, we have Anwar, we have Tammy, Chris, and Tracy. Okay, everybody's in different types of relationships, so we're gonna go ahead and try to come up with what those 5 things would be. First, for instance, Chris and Tracy, you guys have been in a long-term relationship. What would you say are the top 3 to 5 things that make your relationship work?
First of all, you gotta beat your woman. What'd you say?
Right. Communication.
Communication, yeah. Communication and understanding.
Communication is the key. You do not have communication, the relationship is not going.
Okay, so communication,
and you
that's
need a
right.
sense of humor, right?
Communication is number 1.
Number 1 in a relationship. I say sex is number 1. A relationship, stability, keep stability in a relationship. Good sex. You know, communication's good, and trust and understanding, and money is good too. Economically sound, but sex is number 1.
Okay. Now we move on to Tammy. Tammy has been in numerous. No, she's in a long-term relationship right now, and she is in a particular situation where there's a lot of trust and honesty and commitment that has to be. So, well, I mean, what would you consider are the most important things?
Well, actually, you said them all 3 for me, Quay. But I would say trust and honesty the most important. Also falls in with finance also, because in order to have, you got to trust them, especially if you both have money. You got to trust one another. You got to trust him with your funds, and you got to trust, and he got to trust you with your funds as well. But trust and honesty, I say.
Those are the top 2 things. Now, well, I mean, what would be your number 3?
Oh, well, trust and honesty and finance.
And finance, those are your top 3.
Trust and honesty falls in the same category, I think. So let's not forget about communication, or you could even go as far as to saying compromise in a relationship. You have to be able to know where your give and take lies. You know, who wears the pants. You might wear the pants, but you know, like for instance, Anwar, you're married. You've been in you're newlywed, you could say. You've been married, what, 2 years now? I know you understand what compromise and give and take means.
Yeah.
Now, in your marriage, who wears the pants?
I wear the pants.
Okay. So, what would you say? What would you say, even though your wife is not here? What would you say are your top 2 or 3 or 5? Top 3 to 5. Would compromise be in that?
Yeah, compromise is a big one. That's the same thing as understanding. You gotta, you know, if you in a relationship where you feel that you're supposed to call all the shots, whether you're the female or the male, it ain't gonna be a real happy relationship, because it's gotta be equal too.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Communication, understanding, and equality. Well, that's what equal is.
Now look, understanding, hold on, we're not talking to you right now.
I can have sex with a hooker. That's not gonna do it. That's not gonna change
right now
my real relationship. I can have sex by myself. It's not gonna make my relationship better.
I got something.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Now, you could say in a relationship that understanding and compromise are the same things, but it depends on that particular relationship, because somebody could be in a dominant-based relationship where they understand that they're supposed to be the submissive role.
Right.
But and that's that they're not really compromising to that. They're just going with it because that's how it is. But you know, Ebony, and for instance, what do you think? What do you think is the most important things that you would focus on in making a relationship successful?
I would focus on like keeping my glamour right. Basically, I know.
Your glamour, right.
Keeping your toes did, keeping your hair did,
keeping the attraction alive.
Keeping the attraction alive.
Keeps the sex good.
Right.
Keeps the relationship
and,
together.
Communication and understanding. Hair done, nails done, fancy. Everything.
Fancy, huh?
Right.
Martin, you wanted to touch on something.
I think like, okay, trust. Then, you know, you just have to tell the truth, you know, whether it hurt or not, you know. I think being truthful, you know, instead of lying, once you start lying, then you're going to start, you know, they're going to start snowballing.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
Yeah, I say, you know, just, you know, tell the truth, you know. And the other one was, well, you know, sharing.
Being sharing. Yeah. Being unselfish. Now
excuse me. Let me
he was doing something.
Yeah, being able to share, you know, on both sides. Right. You know, instead of, you know, one person giving all the time, you know. I mean, the man gonna play his role.
He gonna give
anyway. You know, right, exactly. And I think a woman should step in, you know, stop being so stingy.
Right. Don't be selfish. See, y'all gotta stop thinking. See, women have a tendency.
Some women.
They think it's have a tendency.
They should be.
Not some.
Hold on.
The majority.
Some women. Some women have a tendency of being self-centered.
Nah.
We gotta get away from that. Men have a tendency of feeling like sex is doesn't hold any relevance. You know, we cheat and feel like, oh, we still love you, but a woman doesn't see that the same way.
Exactly.
They're emotional.
That's a serious thing.
Their actions speak louder than their words.
Crutch Entertainment, True News.